welcome to the Reluctant Knitter channel. My name is Adrienne. I am the Reluctant Knitter, and this is a crafty channel where I do podcasting. I sometimes do knit chat chows. I sometimes do vlogs, and I'm so happy to have you. Welcome back to any of my returning viewers. Welcome to any new viewers checking me out. Yeah, sorry, I'm not really great with the intro thing, but anyway, where you can find me, I'm on Instagram as The Reluctant Knitter. I'm on Ravelry as Reluctant Knitter with no E in the knitter, and I am most active on Ravelry. That's a lie. I'm most active on Instagram. I'm rarely on Ravelry. Anyway, so this is a podcast where I talk about things that I've been working on, knitting, crafting, teeny bit of sewing sometimes, crochet. I do that. I think today all I have is knitting. So that's what you'll be seeing. I have an FO, I have some whips, I have some procurements, and I guess we can just get into it. What I'm wearing the All of the Lights cardigan by Joji Locatelli. I will link all of my everything. All my show notes are down below, and I will link everything to my Ravelry pages. This one in particular does not have, hair's falling out. This one does not have a finished object picture. I never really had like kind of a way to take a picture unless I had someone else take it for me. But I just realized I had taken my rings off to wash my hands and never put them back on there in my pocket. Better put those back on before it goes through the wash. So I have a tripod now, and so I've taken some FO pictures of some other finished objects, and I just have yet to do this one. So anyway, this is knit out of Miss Babs. I'm just gonna go to my Ravelry page. Ugh, I have to sign in. I hate this thing. This is knit out of Miss Babs Yowza. This is DK weight, and the colorway is Mother Earth. It was a yarn baby. I think I got a couple of yarn babies. I had to have, because this takes a lot of yarn. It takes a lot of yardage. I actually didn't put the yardage in, but I knit a medium large. It's a cabled kind of all over cabled. Also has some other stitches, not all over cabled, I guess. And has a very big cable down the back. And it's a long cardigan, and it has pockets, and I love it. And it's one of my favorite things that I finished, and it is one of my proudest makes. I'm very proud of this. Anyway, that's what I'm wearing. Yeah. Okay. I forgot to tell you what I'm drinking. I'm drinking tea. I'm not a very big tea drinker. I generally just drink tea on my podcast in my owl mug that if you saw last episode, I burnt my finger. It was very hot on the outside. You would have seen my owl mug. I got it from my sister Sarah. I think she got it at Target. I got the tea also from Sarah. It is Stash. You'll hear a lot about Sarah. I do a lot of things with her and talk about her a lot. It's Stash cinnamon vanilla. It is caffeine free. The ingredients are cinnamon, rooibos, chamomile, sarsaparilla, and natural vanilla flavor. I haven't tried it yet. It's really steaming hot. If I slurp this, I'll edit it out. It's hot. But it's yummy, actually. It probably could stand to have like a teeny bit of sugar in it, but it's actually fine. I like sweet things, I do, but I'm also fine with unsweetened. If I'm having iced tea though, I like sweet tea, just so you know. If I go to a restaurant, which is a very northern thing, is to have unsweetened tea, I usually say no. If I'm in the mood for iced tea and I ask if it's sweetened or unsweetened and they say unsweetened, I'm like, no thanks. And then they say, we can put sugar in it. My dog is gonna bark, hold on. If they say it's unsweetened, I say, no thanks. And then they say, we'll give you sugar. And I say, sugar doesn't dissolve. It's not gonna dissolve in a cold drink. Don't you know anything? They don't know anything. This is not to say anything negative about people in the service industry. They're very hard workers and they know a lot. They just don't know that sugar doesn't dissolve in cold tea. If you're new, you may not like me because I'm a little bit wild. And if you're returning, you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Okay, so I have a finished object. My finished object is my Bon Beck hood. This is by, I didn't write that down, but hold on. It is by Emily, and it is Atelier Emily, I think, on, she's that on Instagram. I don't know if that's what she is on Ravelry, but it just says by Emily Louise. So maybe that's all she is on Ravelry. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen lots of this because I made a few reels about it. And I also posted FO pictures. So you will have seen quite a bit of this, but I just love it so much. So this is knit out of loop yarn. It is dyed for the yarn shop Loop in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It is held double, a fingering weight and a mohair held double. The fingering weight that I used is on the Linden base, so Loop on the Linden base. It is an MCN, 801010 MCN in the colorway Blush. And then the mohair is on their Posy base in the colorway Apricot. I'll put it on for you because my hair already is like not that stellar. So, oh my gosh, I just love it so much. So I could have stood to make it in a little bit bigger size. It is totally fine and comfortable. It does fit a little close to the neck though, but to be honest with you, if it is like windy out, I may kind of want it to be closer. So, cause you know, sometimes it does that thing where it like blows in, but anyway, this is it. It's very soft and I love it. And it was really easy knit. Ooh, okay. So you should check it out. That's it. The end about that. I feel like I was going to say something else about this. I knit this with my friend, Kirsten, who I met in Philadelphia. My husband and I went down there to see a comedy show, and I have been friends with her for a while on Instagram. She is a longtime viewer of the podcast when I was podcasting with my sisters, and she lives in Philly. So when I went down there, I said, hey, I'm going to be down there. And we met for breakfast, and she took me to her yarn shop Loop. And I had this on my list of things that I wanted to buy. I didn't have to buy it in Philadelphia. Like I didn't go there wanting to buy this, but it was on my list of things that I needed. So I bought it there. I bullied her into buying some. And then she subsequently bullied my sister into buying some, my sister Sarah. So we all knit it together. I finished mine first, so I will have you know. And then when I got home, my sister loved the yarn so much that she went online and bought the yarn. Anyway. That's it. That's it about that, okay? I'm just closing all of these tabs on my iPad because what's going to happen is I'm going to go to this other link and it's going to open up a new tab. Okay, so I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whips. One of them is not really a whip. I'm like altering it, but we'll get to that. Okay, so first whip is, I believe, vanilla socks in here. Yes, I'm knitting these for a friend. I really love this bag, but I think it's like a little bit too small for a pair of socks. And so the yarn gets stuck in the zipper and it's really not good. I don't know if I can get this out without breaking it. Oh no. Okay. Did I break it? I did not. Okay. So this bag is by Fawn. I think Fawn and the Fox. She doesn't do bags anymore, but I think that's who I got this from. And, Amazon went by, didn't stop, which is fine. And Lizzie didn't even bark. So that's awesome. So I am knitting these. These are vanilla socks. I'm knitting these cuff down tandem, so 2 at a time-ish, on US size 1, 2.25 millimeter DPNs. So I believe this is where I was on this sock. I haven't made any progress on this sock since the last time I showed this. This is where I was on this sock. I don't know. I'm just taking my time. There's no deadline. I'm making these for a friend. She doesn't even know I'm making them for her. So there's really no deadline on these socks. And yeah, so I'm knitting these. I generally don't do cuff down, but I'm doing cuff down on this because I couldn't find my other pair of 40-inch circular. I usually do 2 at a time on Magic Loop, but I couldn't find my other pair of needles, which now I just realized where they are. And so I had these. These are Addy, and they're like shorties. What are these, 4 inches? That can't, are they 4 inches? Yeah, 4 inches. And I couldn't figure out how to do a toe up on DPN. So I was like, whatever, I'll just do cuff down. So that's what I'm doing. I did a 2x2 rib. I think I did about 1 inch of rib. Oh, I'm also following a pattern for these. I know they're vanilla socks, but I am following the Smooth Operator socks by Susan B. Anderson. I bought that pattern originally just for the heel. It is an afterthought heel. It's not a true afterthought because you do put in waste yarn, but it is an afterthought heel. And I wanted to try it. I like afterthought heels, particularly for self-striping socks, but it has now become my go-to heel for all socks. The reason being is I hate purling on socks. I hate it. So I don't mind it if it's like in the stitch pattern, but like purling an entire row for a heel is just very annoying to me. I don't mind purling on anything else. It's just socks for the heel. I hate it. So I really love this pattern. I thought it was like $1, the Smooth Operator sock pattern. I think it's like $1, but even if it isn't, it's like completely and totally worth it for this heel because she has this really interesting technique where you pick up stitches so that it closes the hole in the heel. So it's actually really great. But I decided, since I don't generally do cuff down and I already have this pattern, I will just follow that for cuff down. So that's what I'm doing. Let's get to the yarn. The yarn is Premier Yarns Deborah Norville Collection Serenity Sock Weight. It is 230 yards to 50 grams. It's a 50% superwash merino, 25% rayon made from bamboo, and 25% nylon. And let me see if I can find a colorway. Violas. I actually really like it. So I think my sister gave me this at one point for a giveaway. I do believe I tried to give it away. I don't believe the person claimed the prize. So I was like, hey, I think actually my friend, I wanted to knit socks for a friend. I was going through my stash. I'm like, I actually think she probably would like this. And I'm actually really liking the way it's knitting up. Like, it's a little kind of striping, it's self-striping. It's like, I'm really liking it. So that's that. I have a couple of stitch markers on here to indicate, I believe this is indicating needle 1. Yes. So this is a little snail with stars and a moon on its shell. And those are glow in the dark. And then this is a little moon. And these are both by Charmed and Dangerous. All of my stitch markers that I use generally are by Charmed and Dangerous. I love her. She's so talented. Anyway, okay. Funny story about that. She did like a charm club just recently, and it was like woodland. I can't remember now. Winter woodland or something. And my sister Sarah and I, she used to do 4 charms in her charm club. And so we used to split it and then just like each take 2. But this time it's 3. And she was like, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to split it up? And I'm like, well, if you really like 2 of them, then just give me, like, we'll just swap a charm from another, something that you already have in your charm stash. And she was like, oh, that's a good idea. So then it was like, went up for sale. And we were like, are you going to get it? I don't know. I can't decide. Are you going to get it? So I did it without telling her, and she got it without telling me. And then, so we both ended up buying this charm club. It's like so funny. Anyways. Okay. Moving on. Let's do my other pair of vanilla socks. This is for my mother. This is in a bag made by my sister Sarah. If I was still doing titles of podcasts, I would say this is the podcast with my sister Sarah. Even though I say my sister Sarah 87,000 times in every single podcast. In fact, I would say you should do a drinking game with it, but please don't, because you'll probably not feel well after. But okay. Vanilla socks again. It's like my own fault for doing vanilla socks. Like, I'm just like not interested in knitting on any of these, and it's like, oh, they're so boring. Well, Adrian, you decided to do vanilla socks, so I don't even know what you're complaining about. This is in Yarn B, which is Hobby Lobby's yarn brand, Cozy Toes. It is all acrylic. I think it's like acrylic polyester blend, which is the same acrylic. This is in the colorway Alabaster. It's a long story about why I'm using acrylic yarn. I'm not justifying it. That's just, you can knit with acrylic. Knit with acrylic if you want to knit with acrylic. But I am knitting with this because I thought my mother was allergic to wool. And so I was knitting her these socks, and then somebody told me, my sister Sarah told me that she could actually wear wool socks, so it's fine. I do have a little stitch marker from where I was last time. I also did not knit very much on this, and this is a charm from the cat lady, my friend Andrea, the cat lady. Check her out on YouTube. It's C-A-T-T, cat is C-A-T-T. It stands for craft all the things. She is the cat lady on YouTube, the cat lady on Instagram, and probably the cat lady on Ravelry. I'm knitting these 2 at a time, toe up on US size 1, 2.25, 40-inch fixed circulars. Addie. So my other sock needles are Chowgoo. Those are like my favorite, and they're on a pair of socks that I'm actually gonna frog. I was just talking to my sister Nara, and she said she has a lot of things to frog. So I have a completely and totally finished sweater that I would like to rip out and reclaim the yarn. I have a pair of socks that I need to frog. They're not finished. I'm just not really loving the pattern, and I love the yarn. Her and I both bought it. It is, I think it's called Plumpkin Spice. It's like a purpley kind of, and it had like a contrasting mini skein with it by Felicity Yarn Studio, and I just love her. And so we picked this sock pattern, and as we're knitting it up, we're like, neither one of us really like it. So it's like, we're gonna not, what is this? Why is this here? Why? What is that from? Is that from my phone? What is that? I don't really want to get up and like change. What is that? It's from my water. Is that better? The sun rises in the front of my house and sets in the back of my house, and now that it's winter time, it sets at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it is currently 2:41, and it's like right there, getting ready to reflect off of any surface that it can find and blind you when you're sitting on the couch. So the couch is directly across from my sliding glass door, and it comes in at a certain angle for about half an hour and just like completely and totally blinds you. So anyway, we have like blinds on it, so it's fine, but anyway. Next. I decided that since this yarn that I made my Bombeck hood out of was so luxurious and I had some left, that I did not want to waste it. And so I actually have a hoe. I never have a hoe because I never knit things one at a time, but I'm knitting these mitts. So I decided to knit some matching mitts with my yarn for my Bombeck hood. So this is obviously out of Loop, the same stuff. So this is the tag. The fingering weight is, I already said, 80-10-10 merino cashmere nylon, and the mohair is 72% kid mohair, 28% silk. I did not say that about my Bombeck hood, but anyway, in the colorways blush and apricot. So I didn't weave in the ends, but this is the mitt. So It actually knit up very, very, very quickly. These are the Maze Mitts by Anna Zuravleva. Everything, like I said, is linked down below. I don't think that there's a size. I don't think there's different sizes, but she said that like a small is this circumference, a large is this circumference. It is free on Ravelry, but she didn't say like how much, like if you, she didn't have different numbers to cast on for. She just said like use these needle sizes. So I'm actually using, I actually have surprisingly large hands, but so I'm using the largest size needle suggested. So I'm knitting these on DPNs. These are ChowGoo DPNs, and this is a US size 4, 3.5 millimeter. And they fit really well. The thumb is a teensy bit tight. And then I also got some laddering on the palm, which I hate, but I'm hoping it'll block out. I don't know. Also on hers, I counted the repeats in the pattern picture, and I did all of the amounts of repeats. She doesn't really say like a length measurement. She says, repeat the pattern this many times. And I don't know even with like the thumb if she did. I can't remember now. I mean, it is a free pattern, so whatever. But she maybe just has smaller hands or smaller fingers, because in the pattern picture, this comes up higher. It comes up almost to the top of her pinky. I might have long fingers. Someone told me one time I do. So, but I just, whatever. I don't know. But this is how they look on me. I like them. I do. And they do feel warm. Like I was going back and forth on which pattern to knit. I was like, should I do mittens? And also I didn't really know how much yarn I had. I mean, I know how much yarn I had left, but, it's hard because they give you ranges of how much yarn it uses. And I'm always like paranoid that I'm going to run out of yarn. And so part of me wanted to do a mitten. But then I was thinking like one of those convertible mittens so that I could have access to my fingers if I needed to, but and then when you use a convertible mitten, it's like you're using even more because you're doing the fingerless mitt, and then you're also doing a flap, which is more than just a mitten, whatever. So this is what I decided to do. And then this is how far I am on the second mitt. So not terribly far. I think I've done the whole repeat of this where, now I don't remember. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So that's cool. And I have this in my pumpkin spice bag by Happy Little Yarn, Amy from the Happy Little Yarn, who also has a podcast, and she's doing Vlogmas. Cat Lady is also doing Vlogmas, as I forgot to say. And so if you're into Vlogmases, go check them out. And Happy Little Yarn, Amy also has a podcast. Okay. I feel like there's about 30 seconds window, like a 30-second window of when tea is perfect to drink. It's too hot. It goes from too hot to too cold within 30 seconds is what I'm trying to say. It is steaming still. I wish it was hotter. This would be really good with honey. I should have put some honey in it. Okay. Next whip is my float shawl. You guys have been seeing this for about 100 years. It is a very large shawl. It is by Dawn Barker of Barker Wool. This is a triangular shawl that uses assigned pooling. And I love it. I don't remember where I saw it. I mean, I remember where I saw it. It was on Instagram, but I don't think that I followed Dawn Barker or the person whose yarn this is. So I don't know if it was like a suggested post, and I like immediately fell in love with it. I was like, I love this shawl. I love this yarn. So I bought the yarn that was in the photo of this shawl. It takes 3 skeins of yarn. It is a very, very large shawl, and it's finished with ribbing on one side, which I actually really love. I can't wait till I get to the part. Not that I'm excited about knitting a ton of ribbing, but I really, really like the way that it looks. They do also have a pattern, I can't remember the name of it, but if you go to her Ravelry, they also have a pattern that uses 1 to 2 skeins of yarn instead of 3, so it's not as big. So this is the yarn. It is a Chick That Knits Tammy. And it is, let me get this one because it's like a better pick. I just dropped it. I'll do that. This is deluxe sock. It's 85% superwash extra fine merino, 15% nylon. It is 393 yards for 100 grams, and the colorway is Turtle Dove. This is what it looks like caked up. And I am on my final skein. So I actually put some stitch markers every 20 stitches. And so you increase one every other row. So it's kind of slow moving, but I have 20, 40, 60, 80, 1, 20, 40, 60, 80, almost 200 stitches. And I think that you stop at like 2 something. You stop at like, I think it's like the early 200s, 210 or something, 211. So I'm actually almost done with the increasing, and then I move on to the ribbing. But basically it is yarn that has a color change. It's probably hard to say. And then when you get to that color change, you do this floret stitch, and that is what causes the little flowers, and it's called assigned pooling. And I really love it. And it's random, and I just think it's gorgeous. I just think it's completely and totally gorgeous. So I did not alternate skeins, and I don't think you can really tell where I changed skeins. And honestly, even if you could tell a little bit more, once it's all like wrapped up on you, I don't think it's going to be that noticeable. I'm knitting these on my Mindful, Knitter's Pride Mindful interchangeable needles. And this is a US size 4, 3.5 millimeter. And these are on the swivel cord. I have a little bit of a gripe about these needles, I'm going to be honest with you. So my first set of interchangeable needles are Knitter's Pride Melodies of Life. I think it's called Melodies of Life. Symphony of Life? Melodies of Life. And they were fine. I liked them. I'm currently actually trying to destash them. I do have a highlight on my profile and Instagram of what they are, what they come with, and how much I'm trying to sell them for. But those were my first set. Then I saved up, and I was going to VKL in 2019, I believe, in New York City, and I got a set of Licca interchangeable needles, which I loved the wood part of the needle. I did not like the cords. I am not a fan of Licca cords. They have, too much memory? They are way too stiff, way too stiff. My favorite cord of all time is probably a Chowgu. So these are just very, very stiff cords. So I didn't really like them. And for how much I spent on them, I was quite disappointed. It has nothing to do with the needles. It's just a personal preference. Like, I just didn't like them. So I didn't really use them very much. And then I felt like it was a huge waste of money.
You'll need to continue on your personal device.
Stop it. Don't yell at me. So then now she's trying to be on my phone. Mind your business, Siri. Mind your business. So then I can't remember if I saw, I'm really sorry with this afternoon sun, my lighting is going to get very weird. I apologize. If it gets too weird, I will get up and close the blinds, but hopefully I don't have much more to go on this. Okay. So I think I saw these on Very Pink Knits. Was she like giving away a pair or something? And I fell in love with these. I fell in love with these. I love the color of the cord. I love the color of the packaging. I love the color of all the notions. I did a little unboxing. I think I got it in Vlogtober, during Vlogtober. No, Vlogtober last year. So I think I did an unboxing on there, but if anybody wants me to like go through them or whatever, I totally can. I'll just do like a separate video about it. But it came with a bunch of stuff. So it's quite expensive. It's a quite expensive interchangeable set, but it came with a ton of stuff. So I felt like, okay, well, I see how it's so much more, you know, but it also has a lot of things. So then I was trying to justify buying a third set of interchangeable needles. Like, what? So I was like, well, I'll just sell my other ones. So I actually sold my Licca ones on Facebook Marketplace. I'm assuming the person is happy with them because I never heard from them again once they got them. And so I'm still trying to sell my other ones. But now I've had these a year, just about a year, a little over a year, and I don't use them a lot. It must be how I hold my needles when I'm knitting, but one of these cords, not the interchangeable. So it comes with 6 cords. So 3 swivel cords and 3 fixed cords. And 2 of the fixed cords are breaking. They're breaking right here. It's separating from the metal attachment part, and you can see the wires inside. So one of them is breaking and one of them completely broke. I'm not thrilled. I'm really not thrilled. It's a very expensive set of interchangeable needles and 2 of them have already broken. Like, I'm really, really annoyed. Like, I'm so annoyed that I didn't really think about it very much. So one of them broke in September while I was on vacation. One of them, when I just took them out, I noticed it was breaking. And so I haven't really thought very much about it. And now that I'm thinking about it and talking about it right now, I'm really mad. I'm like borderline incensed. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about it because it's like I'm gonna get really upset. So anyway, I have this shawl. I love the needles. They're beautiful. They feel wonderful. The slip is great on the metal part. I love how the size is etched into it. You can't really see it, I'm sorry. But, you know, I really love the needles. The quality is, I'm sorry. Quality is not good. Subpar. This is in a bag also made by my sister. Sushi Cats. Well, it also has like ramen and stuff in there too, but yeah. Okay. Also, I think it's very interesting that expression subpar, because par is a golf term where par is the suggested amount of strokes it should take on that hole to get the ball in the hole. And if you're subpar, you're below par, and being under par is good. I do feel like I looked it up at one point and then the explanation did kind of make more sense, but it obviously didn't stick well, so it doesn't make enough sense to stick. My last whip is not actually a whip. It is a finished object that is going through alterations. So this is my turtle dove. I forgot the ball band, and that's okay. So this is my turtle dove sweater. This is by Espace Tricot. It is a top-down raglan, like oversized dolman kind of shape. That might be the back of it. Okay, so I finished this. When did I finish this? I don't know. I just made a project page because I had never made one before. And since I'm podcasting and I want you guys to be able to like link to the yarn and stuff and see my needles, I just whipped up a project page. So I actually don't know when I originally finished this, but it actually had short sleeves on it. And so they came to about like, you know, here. Well, after wearing it several times, I thought I would like this better if it had a longer sleeve. So I measured how much longer I would need it to be. And so I am lengthening the sleeves. You can see here, I put this stitch marker. It is a coffee bean by Charmed and Dangerous. So you can see you know, where I attached it. I hope that my gauge isn't that different. And I actually don't know what needles I knit this on, so I'm actually using my my Knitter's Pride Mindful Interchangeables. It's also the yarn. So the yarn is K&C Knit and Crochet Plush. It is, I think, a Joanne fabric yarn base or yarn, whatever. Looks like it's discontinued. Interesting. It's a super bulky. It is all, you know, acrylic. It's 88% acrylic, 8% nylon, 4% rayon. And it is in the colorway Olive. I really like it, but it is actually like kind of felting. So it wasn't the worst to pull out, but I also feel like that's probably why this looks so different. I am going to reblock. I'm going to, you know, wash. I know it's acrylic, so it's probably not going to, but I do hope like it will make the fibers kind of fluff up a little bit more, so that it will more match the sleeve of this. I am hoping, I didn't try it on, but I am also hoping that if it doesn't kind of fluff up and match and you can still kind of see that demarcation, that once it's on, you can't really tell as much. I'm going to be honest with you. Who's even going to notice? Okay, so I'm making two alterations to this. The first one is lengthening the sleeve, and the second one is shortening the collar. So this collar is very, very high. In fact, when I'm sitting down, it's like up here. So I do want to take about an inch out of the collar. Now I'm anticipating this is going to be a little bit of a challenge because this is knit top down. So it's not really like I can pick this out and then just pull it and unravel it. I am going to be working backwards and kind of picking it out, which is, I think, is the way that I'm gonna go. I had two options. I feel like I could pick it out backwards, pick it out, or I could cut it. So if I have to cut it, I will. But the reason why I don't want to just cut it is that I am going to have to bind it off. So I'm going to have to attach another piece of yarn to it at some point to rebind off. And so I'm hoping that I can kind of backwards pick it out so that I could just use the picked out yarn to bind off, so that it's not like, you know, another piece of yarn with another end to weave in with another blah, 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 blah. So I just need to take 1 inch out of it. So that's next. I picked up this sleeve. I knit a couple of rows on it. This is a Salted Caramel by, guess who? Charmed and Dangerous. I'm like getting all of these alerts on my watch. They're nobody. So I picked this up and I just need to knit, I think I need to knit 4 inches and then a 2-inch cuff. But it is super bulky, so it actually didn't take very long at all. I was kind of hoping to have this done by Friday. I was hoping I could do it tomorrow. I won't be able to work on this tonight, but I was hoping to be able to work on it tomorrow and get it done, because I have to go to New York. But then I also feel like it might be too warm to wear it into New York. It's going to be in the 40s. So I was thinking it was going to be more like today. Today started out in the 20s. It is currently 38 degrees here. So in the end, I don't know if it's like worth it to try to finish it for New York because I might be too hot in it anyway. It's going to rain really bad if I do end up going to New York. So I'm going to have like a coat on and all of this stuff. So anyway, that's it. Well, that's all for my knitting. I do have some, I wonder if I should just get up and close that thing because I have some procurements I would like to talk to you about. I will do that. Did that help? Okay. Procurements. Sorry, I should have done this before I sat down. So I just recently went to Hobby Lobby and they had a sale on their yarn. I can't remember if it was like 25% or 30% or something off. So Hohi Locatelli just came out with a another pattern. Let me see if I can find it quickly for you. I don't know what it is about it. I really, really love it. I might do some modifying of it. So it is a V-neck sweater. It is not, it doesn't have a lot of ease, like I just said about all of her, patterns have, can't find it. I can't find it. I'll try to put it on the screen. But anyway, it is knit out of DK yarn. It is a V-neck pullover, fitted pullover, but it does, I think, has like 3/4 length sleeves or elbows, like, or to the elbow or something. No, can't find it. Okay. I'll try to put it on the screen. Anyway, that was like 2 minutes of like nonsense. So while I was at Hobby Lobby, I saw this yarn and it was really inexpensive, and it is DK weight. So it's yarn B, soft and sleek, DK. It is low pill fiber. Okay. So it is all acrylic. It was $4.99. And then I think it was, it was like, when I did the math, because I only needed 3 of these balls, I was like, I can get that whole sweater for $15. And then I was like, and less than that because it's on sale. So like, come on, man. I get that plastic isn't good. Like I get all these things, but you know, I think that knitting should also be affordable. So whatever. This color is Oxblood. It is, let me see what the fiber content, 100% low pill acrylic. It's showing up a little purplier, that it's really more red. So I got 3 balls of this. And then, this also might cause some controversy, and I appreciate your stance on it, but this is what I chose to do. So I got this also, this Yarn Bee Authentic hand dyed in the color Candy Coated. It is fingering weight yarn. It's, I believe, oh, it's 100% superwash merino. So it might not actually be great for socks, but I am going to make socks out of it for a friend of mine, my friend's daughter. So I'm not really sure how great they'll hold up, but it was $15, $16, and it was on sale for 30% off. So I got all of this yarn for $23. Yeah, it was 30% off. So anyway, yeah, I got all this yarn for, I got this yarn for this sweater for $10.50. Like, come on, you can't really beat that. You can't. Okay. So those are my procurements. That's it. That's all I have for you. I guess that's it. I'm like really not watching anybody new knitting. If you guys have a podcast or you know a podcast, please feel free to suggest. I'm always looking for new people to watch. And if you have anything, I don't know. I guess that's it. I keep looking outside because I have a bird feeder out here, and we have eastern bluebirds, which are my husband's favorite, and they are growing to be, I don't really have like a favorite bird. I really like eastern bluebirds. I also really like goldfinch, which there's a female goldfinch on my finch feeder right now, which I love. And I really like bluebirds, eastern bluebirds. What are some of the other ones? Goldfinch I really love. Juncos, I really love juncos. They're the cutest little birds. They usually only come out like towards the winter time. They're ground birds. And cardinals, I really like cardinals, particularly the female cardinals. That's just a little fun fact about me. I listened to this podcast called Ologies with Allie Ward, and she basically talks about people who are experts in their field. So like biology and meteorology and geology, and even interesting things like phenology. I think it's called phenology, which is like the study of death. And like, there was one of my favorite ones was bird funerals, crow funerals. And I think they called it corvid phenology. That was a really, really good one. And then there was a really good one about the moon, which is selenology. There was a really cool one about lightning. Anyway, at the end, if you listen all the way to the end, she tells you a secret. And it's really just, it's usually something silly. Like the other day I was talking about blah, 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 or this, that, and the other. But anyway, at the end, she tells you a secret. So I don't know, maybe I'll start doing that. If you watch till the end, I'll tell you a secret. And today's secret is my favorite bird is a female cardinal. Anyway, thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with me and listening to me go on and on about knitting today. And hopefully I will see you guys soon. Bye.